welcome to this explainer. Picture this. You finally found a buyer for your car. They've got cash in hand, you are completely ready to make the deal, but then you realize the single most important piece of paper you need is totally MIA, your car title. Suddenly, that guaranteed sale completely falls apart. It's a massive headache, because without that piece of paper, you can't legally sell your car, you definitely can't trade it into a dealership, and you technically can't even legally prove you own it. So today, we're going to demystify the West Virginia DMV. We'll walk through exactly how to replace a lost car title and get you right back in the driver's seat of your vehicle's ownership. Now, you might be thinking, can't I just write up a bill of sale and be done with it? Well, can you sell a car without a title in West Virginia? The short answer is an absolute hard no. The state is extremely strict about this. Every motor vehicle on its highways has to be titled. In fact, if a seller doesn't have a title in hand, state guidelines officially advise buyers to just turn around and walk away immediately. It's to protect them from buying a stolen or salvaged vehicle. Without that specific certificate establishing your ownership, your vehicle is essentially frozen in this weird legal limbo. So if your title is lost, stolen, or maybe it just accidentally went through the washing machine, replacing it isn't just a good idea, it's an immediate necessity. Okay, let's get you out of that limbo. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with preparation. Walk through the actual application process, review your submission options, break down the fees and processing time, touch on a few special circumstances, and finally, look at avoiding pitfalls. All right, let's dive into step 1, preparation. Getting your documents in order saves a ton of headaches later. The requirements to prove your identity and ownership are pretty simple, but they are very rigid. First things first, every single application must include a clear, completely legible photocopy of the registered owner's driver's license or a state-issued photo ID. Next, you're gonna need your VIN, that's your vehicle identification number. And hey, here's a fantastic pro tip straight from the folks at the DMV. While it's not strictly legally required to include a copy of your current vehicle registration card, doing so is highly recommended. Why? Because it gives the clerk absolutely everything they need to find you in the system instantly. It just speeds the whole verification process right up. Moving right along to step 2, the application process. What you're looking for here is Form DMV-4-TR. It's formally called the Affidavit of Duplicate Title for a Vehicle or Watercraft. You can easily download this straight from the West Virginia Department of Transportation website or just grab a copy in person at your local regional office. Think of this form as your golden ticket to getting that replacement document. But wait, before you even uncap a pen, pay close attention to this strict rule. You absolutely must print in blue or black ink only. I know it seems nitpicky, but seriously, using a pencil or a red pen will get your application rejected right out of the gate. On the form itself, you just need to accurately check the specific reason you're requesting the duplicate. Usually that's lost, destroyed, never received, defaced, or change of address. Oh, and if your title was defaced or mutilated, like the washing machine example from earlier, you actually have to attach whatever is left of the ruined title to your application. All right, step 3, submission options. How do we actually get this paperwork to the state? You really have 3 main routes here. First, there's the in-person method at one of the 26 regional offices scattered statewide, places like Beckley or Morgantown. The main catch here is that it requires you to physically be there, and you have to have your original physical ID with you. Second, you can go the old-fashioned mail-in route. You just send your whole packet to the Central Receiving and Processing Facility at P.O. Box 177010 in Charleston. But of course, then you're at the mercy of postal transit times. Finally, there's the online citizens portal at wv.gov. It is incredibly convenient, but there is a pretty big catch. The online portal is strictly limited to unencumbered titles. Basically, if your lost title had an active bank loan or lien on it, you cannot use the online system. Let's move to section 4, fees and processing time. Let's talk about what this will cost you and how long you'll be waiting. The good news? Securing a duplicate title is not going to break the bank. The cost is currently just $15. And it's kind of interesting how they arrive at that number. Under West Virginia Code, the base fee was actually established at $10, but the Division of Motor Vehicles is authorized by law to adjust that fee every 5 years based on the Consumer Price Index. So because of inflation adjustments, the current administrative fee sits at $15. Just remember, this payment has to be included with your application, usually as a check if you're mailing it in. As for the wait time, well, your submission method entirely dictates how fast you get your title. If you are in a rush, like you literally need this title to sell your car tomorrow, an in-person visit to a regional office gets you a duplicate title issued the exact same day. Boom, done. On the other hand, if you aren't in a hurry and you use the online portal or mail it into Charleston, headquarters will process it and mail it back out to you. That generally takes about 1 week. Now for Section 5, Special Circumstances. Because sometimes things just aren't that straightforward. For instance, what if you find yourself handling a lost title for a vehicle that belonged to a loved one who passed away? If the vehicle is actively going through probate, the executor named in the will can handle this by showing a certified copy of their appointment. But if there isn't a will, a legal heir can actually step in. First, you secure a certified death certificate. Second, you submit a legal heir affidavit. That's Form DMB 185TR. And third, you apply for the duplicate title and the transfer all at the same time. I know it sounds overwhelming, but the DMV clerks are highly trained to help you fill out those specific transfer sections, as long as you bring all those necessary documents into the office. Another really common special circumstance involves liens. Let's look at West Virginia Code Section 17A.4A7. Basically, if you ever had a loan on your car, the bank held a lien on the title. Here is the kicker. Even if you paid that car off years and years ago, if your lost physical title still had that lien printed on it, you have to complete Section D of the duplicate application. And that requires an official signed document from your bank proving the debt is 100% satisfied. Oh, and make absolutely sure that bank release is notarized. If it's not notarized, the state simply will not issue a clear duplicate title to you. And that brings us to Section 6, Avoiding Pitfalls. Let's make sure your application doesn't end up in the rejection pile. You might think filling out a single-page form is pretty foolproof. But get this, the Central DMV office in Charleston actually writes up to 150 to 200 sendbacks every single day. That is nearly 200 applications rejected daily due to completely avoidable consumer mistakes. So, why are they getting sent back? Well, it's usually the little things. People forget to slip the photocopy of their driver's license into the envelope. They write in red ink instead of blue or black. They forget to get their lien release notarized by the bank. They forget to include that $15 check. Or, incredibly, they go through all that work and just forget to sign the bottom of the form. So please meticulously double-check your packet before you seal that envelope. Oh, and a quick tip for the future. Once your shiny new title arrives in the mail, keep it safe. Lock it up in a fireproof safe or a safety deposit box, literally anywhere but your car's glove compartment, so you never have to go through this process again. And hey, just to add a little bit of dramatic tension to the paperwork, there is an actual perjury warning printed right on the form. It bluntly states that the penalty for a false statement holds a fine or imprisonment for 30 days in the county jail or both. Basically, your signature and the accuracy of what you write are legally binding. The state takes vehicle ownership extremely seriously to combat fraud. And you should too, especially when verifying your VIN and your personal details. So, are you ready to reclaim your vehicle's ownership? Administrative red tape can feel pretty intimidating, but by just understanding the rules of the road, you can easily beat the bureaucracy. With a little preparation, your ID copies, that $15 fee, and some close attention to detail, replacing your lost West Virginia car title is actually a very smooth, structured process, and it totally protects both you and whoever ends up buying your car down the line. Finally, I do need to mention that while this explainer is designed to give you accurate and actionable information based on West Virginia statutes, it is always best practice to verify the most current details with official state resources. You can head right over to wv.gov to download your forms or contact the DMV directly. And of course, if you're dealing with a highly complex legal or estate situation, definitely consult with a qualified legal expert. So now that you know exactly how to conquer the DMV bureaucracy, what is the very first thing you're going to do when that fresh new title finally arrives in your mailbox? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and safe travels.